right, 6 o'clock, you ready? Two more?
Sarah said one more is coming up.
Got it. Good evening, fellow Glendorans. It is 6 o'clock in the evening on Monday, May 12th, 2025. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Glendora Unified School District. Thank you for your attendance. We are reconvening this meeting from closed session, and I have no reportable action from closed session. It's always an amazing thing to say after an hour of work. The next item is roll call. Would you please do a roll call for the school board?
Member Garcia? Here. Board Clerk Cam?
Present.
Member Munoz?
Present.
Vice President Lopez?
Here.
President Clifford?
Present.
Please note they're all here.
Thank you. The next item we have will be the Pledge of Allegiance. Liliana, would you carry that out for us tonight, please?
Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, school board. We have an agenda in front of us. Is there any motion to reorder the agenda, or can I have a motion to keep it the way it is and move forward?
I motion to keep it as it is.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we have an adopted agenda for the evening. The next item is 3.6, which is a board recognition, employees and rookies of the year 24-25, presented by Dr. Osborne, who's not here tonight, the GHS stunt team, and that's presented by Rob Tilton. So I'll take the whole thing, turn it over to the superintendent, and let him take it from here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Clifford, members of the board, distinguished guests. It is my pleasure, on behalf of Dr. Osborne, who is ill and who would love to be here this evening. We hope to have him back soon. But on his behalf, it's my pleasure to recognize our rookies of the year for the school district, as well as our employees of the year. We have two rookies of the year this year, one for certificated and one for classified. And the certificated rookie of the year is no rookie. He's certainly a seasoned professional. And his name is Eric Quintanilla, our new band director at Glendora High School. Let's give him a round of applause. Eric has been an amazing addition to GHS. He has stepped into a program rich in traditions and embraced those traditions, while also making his own contributions. Eric has not only had an impact on our band, pageantry, and music program, but has really embraced getting to know students on and off and around campus. He works on building connections with individuals as well as programs. Eric has transformed an already strong program into one with exceptional stability and inspiration. He is never seen on campus without a smile, but absolutely brings more smiles to those he interacts with daily. Mr. Eric Quintanilla. Once we're finished with all of the awardees, then we'll have each of you come up to receive your very tasty looking bundlets. So grab those quickly before I do. Jessica Perez was our classified employee. She's not here with us tonight, but she was the Rookie of the Year. She's our new special education technician. She also acts as a receptionist later in the afternoon. Let's give her a round of applause as well. Our Teacher of the Year this year from Whitcomb High School, Mr. Ralph Love. Always feeling the love for Mr. Love. Our Teacher of the Year. Ralph has worked as a teacher at Whitcomb High School since 2018. Mr. Love is respected by his colleagues and loved by his students. This was clearly demonstrated by the excitement upon his return from active deployment in the Army, where even former students returned to welcome him home. He cares deeply about his students. While on active deployment during graduation last year, he created a congratulations video from an undisclosed location in the Middle East, which brought staff and students alike to tears. Mr. Love has high expectations for students, and they rise to the occasion by taking an active role in their own education. From lessons that have students create poetry through the Wickham Blues songwriting and performance to interacting with literature through a text-based virtual escape room, Mr. Love goes above and beyond to make rigorous curriculum engaging for his students. He is a Wickham Wildcat through and through, and we are beyond lucky to have him support the staff and especially the students of Glendora Unified and Wickham High School. Mr. Ralph Love. This next gentleman is not only the custodial and maintenance services employee of the year, he's also one of our proud to be GUSD winners, and I see him proudly wearing his shirt in the front row. Mr. Eric Velasco, the custodian at Stanton Elementary. Eric has worked for us since 2007. He's the backbone of our school at Stanton, tirelessly ensuring that everything runs smoothly on a daily basis. His responsibilities are vast and varied, from maintaining the cleanliness of the campus and repairing equipment to setting up for events and ensuring the safety and functionality of our facilities. What truly sets him apart is his unwavering dedication and willingness to go above and beyond for the benefit of our school community. No matter how busy he is, the moment he is called on the radio, he immediately stops. That's quite often too, isn't it, Eric? Yes, it is. Yes, he immediately stops what he's doing to respond to the needs of staff, students, and visitors with professionalism and a positive attitude. His sense of humor is an added bonus, and he is constantly making us all laugh in the office, helping out at lunch, assisting with campus logistics, and keeping our school looking its best are his daily expectations. It is his exceptional commitment and reliability that make him an indispensable part of our team and a truly deserving recipient of the Classified Employee of the Year. He's an example of someone that finally was able to secure their own school and lead the school as his school, as a custodian. Special thing there. Special case, Mr. Eric Velasco. Our clerical and administrative services winner was Cindy Vincent from Cullen. She couldn't be with us here this evening, but let's give her a round of applause. She's outstanding too. As is our food and nutrition services employee, Marissa Williams Ambris from La Fetra. Congratulations to her. She was selected in that role. And we have with us tonight, I see you're near the front. Thank you. Emma Villegas from Goddard Middle School, our health and student services winner for this school year for Classified School Employee of the Year. Give her a round of applause. Emma is awesome. She served as an LVN at La Fetra for many years and most recently now at Goddard. She's been with us since 2012. District Nurse Sonia Delaquila stated that Emma demonstrates many skills that make her a great nurse. She is reliable, takes initiative, and constantly demonstrates kindness and compassion to our students. She is easily adaptable to new environments as she showed in her first year at Goddard, moving over smooth transition. She is a true asset to GSD, Miss Emma Villegas. Thank you, Emma. Our Classified Employee of the Year for Paraprofessional Services category is Miss Danette Holland. Danette has served as an instructional assistant, mild moderate, in our special education program since 2016. Ms. Holland is a big personality on our campus, and she puts out a radiant, positive vibe everywhere she goes. Danette is a classroom aide for our Learning Center, and she provides students with consistent, structured support as they work towards meeting their academic goals. Danette also works at one of our gates each morning and afternoon. Here, she has built a positive relationship with our greater Cullen community. She is enthusiastic and friendly, helping to start students off on a positive note when entering our campus, and their parents, but also with people by passing by walking their dogs, that are walking their dogs. She is also at the same gate at the end of the day, and she sends students off with a smile, letting them know she is looking forward to seeing them the next day. Mrs. Holland is known for her positive attitude, funky outfits, and most importantly, for her perfect cartwheel. Ms. Holland, not enough room up here tonight. No, I know you want to. I know, it's hard. Cullen would not be the same without Miss Holland, and we are so thankful that she is part of our Cullen family, Miss Danette Holland. Classified Employee of the Year for Security Services is Goddard's Campus Security Associate. He's outstanding. Andrew De La Torre. We recognized him earlier also in the year as a proud to be GSD winner. He was a double winner like Eric Velasco. As well, let's congratulate him. He can be here. And Nick Drum. He was our Skilled Trade Services Classified Employee of the Year in the area of our district maintenance. He is our plumber. Nick Drum, congratulations to him. Last but not least, we come to the final two. Carrie Brumfield is your Technical Services Classified Employee of the Year. And top rooting section. Very nice, Carrie. Carrie has worked for GSD in a variety of capacities since 2000. Carrie is invaluable in the district's support of data and technology. We rely on her often. In addition to her vast data systems knowledge, Carrie is an incredibly fast and flexible learner. If we have a problem, Carrie is a solution thinker who will utilize her vast network of resources to find the information needed to effect a solution. She is also a team player. She collaborates with every department to facilitate smooth transitions, reporting, and operations. Additionally, Mrs. Brumfield is an invaluable resource for data dives. When we are trying to gather data to analyze a situation and dig deep, she can see it from many angles and has the knowledge and skill to pull the necessary data to analyze and dig into the area and help us make informed and targeted plans. She is positive like no other. She always has a smile. Yeah, there you go. And kind words. And her patience in supporting and mentoring others is unparalleled. Carrie is a treasure, an asset to Glendora Unified, and we are so very fortunate that she has chosen to call GUSD home. Thank you, Carrie Brumfield. Last but not least, our Administrator of the Year, Ms. Erin Meza, Nutrition Services Director. Competing rooting sections. I like it. We are proud to recognize Mrs. Erin Meza, Director of Student Services, as our Administrator of the Year for her outstanding leadership and dedication. Mrs. Meza has been a driving force in enhancing our school nutrition program, casting a shared vision that prioritizes scratch cooking and fresh, high-quality meals. She actively listens to student feedback, making meaningful menu changes that reflect their needs and preferences. Her commitment to training, teamwork, and professionalism has strengthened the nutrition services team, creating a culture of excellence and collaboration. Thank you, Mrs. Mesa, for your passion and investment in both students and staff. Your leadership continues to make a lasting impact. Thank you, Erin, and congratulations. With that, we'd like to invite each of you up to secure these tasty buntlets, and we will do a picture with the board.
Yes, sir. Would you, everybody that was named, come up, grab your reward, and then stand in front of us right here, and we'll all smash together and take a picture with it. Tracy, if you wouldn't mind facilitating that, you guys are And if there's any leftover cakes, bring them on up here. Yeah. Come on up, you guys, right here, right in front of me. Back here. Yeah, very, very cool. Your son is very proud of you.
That meets all nutritional standards.
Squish in. Aaron,
Yes.
squish in. So before you guys run out, just before you run out, I want to bring it back to the board and see if there's anything that the board wants to say real quick. I'll start with Dr. Munoz.
No, I just want to say, great things were said about everyone here, but congratulations to you all. Very proud and happy to acknowledge you today, so thank you.
Yeah, I thank you guys for your service, for what you do every day with our kids. I mean, and some of you, not just for your service to Glendora Unified, but to the service of our country, right? So, appreciate everything you do every day with our kids. Obviously, you're building those relationships and you're making those connections, which is that's what we're about, right? That's what that's what we do here in school. Thank you very much.
I'm so happy to see it. I've gotten a chance to see you all in your different areas and skill sets, and I'm always impressed. And so thank you. Thank you for impressing me constantly. Thank you for all the hard work you do, and thank you for the impacts you guys are making on our district, but also our kids. So thanks.
Same, congratulations. It's very nice to see you be recognized. I know that all of our teachers and staff deserve that recognition, and I'm happy that this year it's yours and that you get to be celebrated. And also thank you for the many ways that you each touch our students along the way, from nutrition to in the classroom through the arts. I appreciate you. Thank you.
And I just want to couple with all of the trustees up here saying it's nice to see the joyfulness in the room, the parents and the families that are with everyone. The young man in the front seat is so proud of his father. He's grinning from ear to ear. He's just wanted to, it's so exciting. And that's what makes Glendora unique from other places. So God bless you all. Thank you so much. We'll move on. You guys can sneak out now if you don't want to be here for the rest of the night. Now, while they're sneaking out, our next item will be student board member report. Now- oh,
We still have one more
what?
recognition.
Oh, I'm sorry.
17.
Okay, where's that, which agenda item is that?
That's the same as 3.6.
So we didn't do all of 3.6? Okay. All right, we're gonna continue with item 3.6. Dr. DeGrazia?
Thank you, Mr. Clifford. At this time, I'd like to invite to the microphone Mr. Rod Tilton, Assistant Principal, Glendora High School, for a special recognition of a special team. Mr. Tilton.
Thank you, Mr. Tilton. The mic's all yours.
Thought all the kids taking notes were gonna applaud, but
Yeah, that's okay.
maybe next time.
Maybe later tonight.
Maybe, yeah.
I was hoping for some applause too.
I kinda
but-
paused, but
Yes,
we'll
go ahead,
see.
Rod.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice.
President, Clifford, trustees, Dr. DeGrazia, and executive cabinet, thank you so much for allowing me the pleasure and the privilege to be here to celebrate our stunt team who came home with the CIF championship a few weekends ago. So at this time, I'd like to call up Alexis Aguirre, their coach, and their captains, Kate Heyer and Maddie Zubo. We'll start with Alexis. So this is her 4th year as our cheer coach. We'll get into kind of the history of stunt here in a minute, but we're lucky as heck to have her. She's a former Tartan as well. To hear all the people that we're talking today about, people that have grown up in Glendora. She grew up in Glendora and stayed here, and we were fortunate enough that she came to coach with us, and we're really, really lucky to have her. And then our 2 captains are here representing the team of the 21 that took them to get to the championship. Because if you guys ever seen, are they called fall challenges? I would not do that. I don't know if I would trust people. But this team has to trust and love and care for each other, because the girl the flyer flying through the sky has to do it right, or she's going to hurt the bases trying to catch. And if the bases don't do their job, there's the amount of trust that goes into those 21 girls is just absolutely amazing. So the journey that we've had with this stunt program goes back to 3 years ago, which was the first year CIF offered it as a sport. And we couldn't find a league. We beat the bushes, and Alexis and I were calling anybody we knew, and like, just let us play. Like, we'll come to your game, and it's a scrimmage. We don't care. We just want to compete. And so, I don't know, we had maybe 4 or 5 games where we just went to other people's league contests, and we were kind of the filler school. And so people would compete against us, and we kind of took that knowledge, and they took it, and boy, did they run with it. Because the following year, we got into a league, made the playoffs, and should have won, but we lost by 1 on a long, long bus ride. So it was kind of a sad bus ride home. And then this year we got to a bigger, more competitive league, against some really, really good schools. And then once again, the ladies, them and their teammates stepped up and qualified for the playoffs, and we ran right through that playoff. We hosted for 2 nights at home, and that place was packed, and it was exciting, and it was a good time. And then we went over to Yorba Linda and not only won the 2 games that day, but we didn't even have to finish the match because the other team was mathematically unable to catch us. And it was just something special to see. And then we got to go to Fresno this weekend. They won on Friday. And then Saturday, we not only ran into one little injury that we had to try to overcome, but we ran into the number 1 seeded team in the state. And they were the number 1 seed in the state. They earned that. But to say that we're CIF division champions, they can never take that away from us. The banner's going up in the gym, and they'll be there forever. And to say we were one of the last 4 teams in the state still competing in stunt when we couldn't even find a league to play in 3 years ago is something to say about the coaches and the team. And we're super, super proud of all of them. And she has the trophy too. Are you sending me that though?
Yes, I sure will. One, two, three.
Thank you, congratulations. Anything that board members want to say about the Flyers?
Well, yeah, I do. I do.
Flyers.
Now, Alexis, you were a cheerleader back, I think I was the principal back, you were a cheerleader way back then, right? Okay. Congratulations. As Mr. Tilden said, so proud of what you guys have done. I got to see the quarterfinal and the final because Sienna Rohr is my granddaughter. And so, yeah. So it's pretty cool for this sport to be around for a couple of years, and then Glendora rises to the top. So thank you for your work. Thank you for the time that you put in. And if you have not seen stunt, you have to go see it, because 2 teams side by side doing the same thing. It's like, how in the world are they even figuring out what's going on? So, but it's really cool to watch. And you guys have done a great job. Alexis, you've done a great job as a coach, and the fact that girls that you guys have bought in, and it's just incredible. And so really, really proud of the work. So great job.
Thank you.
And we're looking for a repeat, right? We gotta do that. Okay?
Trustee Munoz, anything?
Oh, just briefly, congratulations. This is such an amazing honor to bring in a CIF championship. It's so, 4 years to get that. That's amazing.
Thank you
So I just want to thank all your hard work and sacrifice and dedication that you guys did. So I definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have these semesters where entire teams will come through my class where I teach. And one year I had the entire tumbling team come through and was shocked to see what they do and how they do it. And I had the opportunity to go to one of your competitions and was so blown away, number one, at the athleticism and how great you guys were. But also, I felt like you were performing better than what I saw at a college campus. So keep up the great work. I'm so happy for you, and I'm excited for what the future holds for all of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I think he took my word, athleticism that I see. I follow you guys on Instagram, and I thank you for sharing everything on it, because it really, I feel like I'm there. Mr. Tilton as well. He shares everything on Instagram, so I love seeing you all perform. I have to tell you, I am holding my breath the entire time. It is unbelievable what you guys do, and so thank you for sharing your talent with us. Thank you for making Glendora proud with that CIF championship. We're very proud of you and can't wait to see what happens next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As 3 former football players here, love to watch the cheer and the Flyers and all that stuff that happened. And I couldn't say anything more. It's phenomenal. So keep up the good work, and we look forward to next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now that that's done, we will move now to public comment, which is 3.7. Now, tonight, I have 10 cards 6 of those cards are on non-agenda items, and 4 of those cards are on agenda items. So I'm gonna do them by theme tonight, right? The first theme, we have one, from Francine Mitchell, come on up, and that's the first non-agendized item. After this one, we have 5 that are all under the same topic. So I'm gonna call all 5 names to stand up like in a line and let the first one start, and then as you go, if they're, you know, if you don't wanna be repetitive, you could just get up and say, yeah, that's me, that's what I'm here for, and go like that. But I'm gonna do it kind of in a theme to see if we can move it along. So the first one is Francine Mitchell. Good evening, Miss Mitchell.
Good evening, Board.
It's all yours.
All right. Oh, I don't have my 3 minutes. I'll try to make this short. Thank you very much for your time here. One of the things I wanted to touch on before I start was one of the things that you said, Mr. Clifford, was Glendora is unique from all other places. I was raised here, raising my children, and it is truly a unique city to live in, and the community is amazing. One of my concerns that I bring to you today is not only from my direct experience, but also with other parents and future players within the Glendora High School baseball program. It extends to a broader culture and practice under the direction of Coach Llewellyn. My concerns stem from the issues of fairness, player development, and the lack of accountability that I believe could affect current and future student athletes in Glendora High School. One of the important things of CIF rules is code of ethics. This guides our behavior, coaches, athletic directors, and interscholastic athletes. It emphasizes fair play, sportsmanship, and the well-being of student athletes. Key aspects include, and not limited to this, but the environment, encouraging all student athletes to do their best on and off the field, and most importantly, to have an equal opportunity to participate and succeed in a sports program. I bring this to your attention not only from my direct experience, but from other players. Having players to be marginalized and excluded is not part of that CIF code of ethics. In meeting with players bringing things to the attention of Mr. Llewellyn, they have picked up their bags and either have returned back to another level or have permanently left the school, which is of greater concern. I myself has met with him. He was dismissive and disheartening. And as I go through the levels as his dual role, which is the most important key here as athletic director and head coach, this overlap presents a clear conflict of interest, leaving no independent party to evaluate the fairness and appropriateness of his decisions. This dynamically, effectively silences parents and players who might otherwise raise legitimate concerns about the baseball program's leadership and direction. I have spoken to parents who plan to leave the school, and there is talk amongst freshman parents to evaluate and probably consider the same thing. This is concerning, and to understand that families may have transferred their student athletes already from Glendora High School in recent years due to their similar frustrations. It is very concerning if this trend continues. It could impact students' retention and be an extension funding for the school. I believe that implementing independent oversight for athletes, especially when conflicts of interest exist, it's necessary to ensure fairness, accountability, and healthy development of our student athletes. I'm looking for the board to take this very seriously concerned, to investigate how it's being handled, and just not swept under the table. And just like you saw, this little kid, Nathan Velasco, who's a future Glendoran High School, possibly baseball player. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, and we'll take that with the superintendent, get back to you. I appreciate your comments. Thank you. Okay, the next 5, if you wouldn't mind standing up just kind of in an order right there, down in a line. The first one is Doug Granquist, and these all have Glendora K through 12 emails, so I assume I recognize the names. Dylan Chang, Nancy Druin, Shelley Serhan, and Rachel Bizotto, I think if that's correct. If you guys wouldn't mind standing up in that order right here, and then we'll give you each 3 minutes, but if you don't want to be repetitive, say, yeah, that's what I'm here for, and I would really appreciate that very much. So as you assemble up there in that order, we'll start with Douglas Granquist. Go right ahead, sir.
Hello, President Clifford, members of the board, Dr. DeGrazia. My name is Doug Granquist, and I'm president of Glendora Teachers Association. and I come to you today on behalf of our teachers, specifically from Sandburg and Goddard Middle Schools. The heating and cooling at our schools are a problem. Our teachers and members are constantly either freezing or sweating in their classrooms. The humidity is unregulated and it keeps getting worse. Teachers provide blankets or fans for their students to help make them comfortable as they endure temperatures that get up to the 80s and down to the 50s, depending on the confluence of seemingly unknowable circumstances. Just today, it was 77 and humid in classrooms as it was 73 degrees outside. It's exhausting. As GTA president, my inbox gets flooded with messages when the chillers and the heater is not working, and I get a play-by-play as temperatures get more and more unbearable. I could go into how this is not a new issue and how, although some on this dais have been at the helm of these schools before, the problem is not only not getting better, it's getting worse. I could get into the details of how the thermostats installed a year ago with the promise of system-changing money from the state crippled our ability to control individual classrooms, leaving our classrooms with fans that cannot be shut off when it's 60 degrees and blowing cold air or 80 degrees and blowing hot air. Our members just want to be able to turn their stuff off. I have details, and our members keep the history and the receipts. But I won't focus on that today. I want to focus on the impact it has in our classrooms. Do you think our students can concentrate and engage with their classes when they're freezing in their seats, when they're sweating coming from PE to go to no relief in walking into a hot and humid classroom? Our teachers are amazing and resilient, but when they have to call and email daily about conditions in their classrooms and endure them as they concentrate on their teaching and their students, it takes its toll. What we need is for you to hear our concerns and protect our work that we do in the classroom every day by understanding and fixing the problems. We need attention, we need solutions, and we need to work on this. We're here for it. Let's do it. We are your partners in this, but we need you to push solutions forward. So we can go with you on that, and so that we can do the best for our students in their classrooms each day. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to working with you on this.
Thank you. Dylan, is there anything you want to add to that?
I'm here for the exact same thing.
Okay. Any other stuff you want to add? I recognize that.
Not really. Okay, so, well, good evening, board. My name is Dylan Chang. I am a current 7th grader at Goddard Middle School and also next year's ASB Vice President. I came here to talk about our classroom temperatures, which are all different in every single classroom. For me, every day when I go to English, it's like I'm living inside a volcano. And then when I go to math class, it's like completely different. I'm living in Antarctica. But in reality, the classrooms have a temperature from around 54 to 79 degrees or higher. And then when my teachers try changing it, it just stays the same, no difference. I made a promise to all Goddard students that I will try my very best to implement this problem and somehow change it. I hope you all can help me fulfill my promise. Please let me know what I can do to help with this problem, and thank you for listening.
Dylan, thank you. There you go. Nancy?
Yes. Good evening, board members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Nancy Druin. I teach at Goddard Middle School. I come on behalf of the teachers of Goddard to raise concern that all previous administrators of Goddard know all too well our heating and air conditioning system. For years, we've dealt with temperature control issues in our school buildings, but most recently, the situation has become untenable due to the installation of new thermostats. These new devices display the temperature, but offer us no way to regulate the flow of air into our classrooms. When we try to change the temperature or turn it off, the system overrides us. As a result, we experience temperature extremes that swing from as low as 58 degrees when the chiller is running to as high as 84 degrees when the boiler is on. These extremes happen simultaneously depending on the classroom location. Per OSHA, the optimum classroom temperature is between 68 and 74. These are not small discomforts, they are significant barriers to learning and teaching. We've been told that when Tracy Vacker was here, she was working on a grant through the state to improve our system. These thermostats, which were part of the grant, were installed to monitor CO2 levels that are connected to fans which cannot be shut down. The fans blow the cold air into the rooms even when the chiller is off. So while there's been an attempt to improve our situation, the situation remains worse than ever. We are asking for your help to finding another solution. Students and teachers are stuck in rooms that are either too hot or too cold, and it varies dramatically from one classroom to the next. Students are bringing hand warmers to class, and some teachers have taken to getting boxes of blankets and hoodies on hand for students who are freezing. And when rooms are too hot, having the door open with a standing fan is just not enough to cool them off. This is not a sustainable environment. It is not conducive to learning, and it is not conducive to teaching. So we're here to both inform you of our problem and ask for support to finding a solution. And while we understand that cost is a factor in every decision, this is one of those situations where the cost must be figured out. We ask the board to prioritize a real, functional, responsive temperature control solution, one that allows us to make adjustments as needed. Because at the end of the day, what's being compromised is not just comfort, it's the education. Thank you.
Thank you. Shelley?
Hello, welcome. A special thank you to Dylan for coming and representing. He campaigned on a platform, including the temperature. So big thanks to
Very
him.
good.
I'm here just to support the staff. Thank you for listening. This is a letter written by parent Mr. Mike Bell. He's the father of two fabulous Goddard students, and he couldn't be here tonight, but he states, the air conditioning is essential today in the modern world and can be such a pain too when it's not the temperature you want it. Whether it is too hot or too cold, it can be a huge distraction to one's learning. Most of the AC at Goddard is too cold, and in the winter, it can be such a pain. A student hopes to walk into a nice 72-degree classroom, but ends up walking into a 65-degree classroom. Mine was 61 this week. On a refreshing day, this can be very distracting, and even in the summer, it can be refreshing, but after spending about 20 minutes there, it feels as if you were in the Arctic. I know a student can bring a sweater, but with their 15-pound backpack, a side topic, it makes it hard to put it in their backpack. And even if you carry it, people always forget it and have to go back to the classroom to get it, and that's even more distracting for the other students. GUSD should be able to provide funding to help make our students' classroom experiences most comfortable for learning. Thank you for your time, the Bell family.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Rachel? Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board and administrative team. If I may share briefly a bit about my professional journey to offer you some context. I began teaching during the Great Recession, which meant I spent my early years moving between districts due to temporary contracts and budget cuts. I've taught in Norwalk, Tustin, and Orange before settling at Sandburg Middle School, where I've served the last 13 years. Across all of those districts, only Sandburg and GSD has been the only one in which it's literally been too hot for school. Only here have we had early dismissals because the HVAC failed. I've never had to replace bulletin boards that have peeled off due to the humidity in my classroom, or seen laminate floors warp and buckle until our department meetings at Goddard. This is not typical, and it shouldn't be acceptable, especially for schools that belong to the pride of the foothills. This issue doesn't just affect comfort, it affects learning. When classrooms regularly reach the 80s with humidity to match, it's difficult for students to focus, and it's exhausting for staff. These conditions degrade materials, interrupt instruction, and chip away at morale. I've resorted to buying my own fan and space heater just to make the room bearable, but this isn't something we can fix as individuals with a Rotary grant. This is not a small maintenance problem. It requires meaningful investment and commitment. I truly believe this board has the opportunity to finally be the one that prioritizes this issue, not just with stopgap fixes like the one we had today at Sandburg when our chiller went out again, but with long-term solutions. Sandburg has been the heart of my career, and I care deeply about this school and community. I've even moved my family and enrolled my own children in this district. I'm committed to its future, and I hope the district will show the same level of commitment we ask of our students and staff every day. I respectfully urge you to address this issue with a lasting solution, not another temporary fix, so we can provide a safe and supportive learning environment and so that I can wear this spirit t-shirt without my students wondering if it's our inspirational motto for the day or the current state of affairs in our classroom. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last four cards have the topic ethnic studies. The first speaker, Mike Barron. And Ryan, you'll be next.
Good evening, board and staff. Tonight's agenda states that Glendora USD social science content expert teachers collaboratively developed a semester-long ethnic studies course. Really? Where's the course? Your own paperwork says there's a course, and we've never seen it. So there's still a great deal of controversy within the community about this outline, with its content as well as the process that got us here. It is unavoidable that to teach to this outline will require extensive reliance on the state model curriculum, which everyone agrees uses CRT, intersectionality, and promotes student activism. In fact, when I asked ChatGPT what themes were in the outline, it responded, and I quote, "It contains both social justice and CRT-aligned themes, even if the terminology has been softened. Encourages equity over equality, a distinction often used to support race-based policies and interventions." Is this what we want for Glendora? If you look at Chapter 3 of the state model curriculum and compare it to the original ethnic studies outline, you will find that you could almost accuse the authors of plagiarism. The two are so similar. With respect to the process used to develop the outline, consider the following. The administrative staff promised from the beginning and through various community meetings that GUSD would not rely on the model curriculum, but instead would develop a local curriculum. But if this outline that's being voted on tonight represents a locally developed curriculum, then you are violating AB 101. AB 101 states clearly that if a school district develops a local curriculum, it must share that curriculum, not an outline, with the board and the community. First, to present it, and second, to receive feedback from the community. But you are basing your decision on an outline. So, what is it? Is it based on CRT and the model ordinance, or is it local? One of you trustees needs to ask staff that question. Now, my boss said, don't just be a problem identifier, be a problem solver. So I would ask that one of you trustees ask staff to accept a presentation by Dr. Williamson Evers, the project head of the fully completed Comparative Cultures Ethnic Studies curriculum that is available online and is not political. Even though LACOE says it is, they're lying. It includes Arab Americans, Jewish Americans as ethnic groups, and you can go online and see it. So we will accept ethnic studies, not one with CRT and political indoctrination.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Ryan, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. Distinguished board members, thank you for allowing me to speak on this issue. Even though I love Glendora schools, great board, great staff, I don't think this is the right thing for our schools. While we should encourage a culture of atmosphere of love, understanding, and fellowship with all people of various backgrounds and viewpoints, it serves no one, especially our children, to teach them that no matter how hard they work or how smart that they will always be viewed and treated based on their skin color, or their familiar background and cultural background, a trait that no one can choose or overcome. Like MLK Jr. once said, we want our children to be judged on the content of their character and not on the color of their skin. Sadly, we live in a fallen, often hateful world that is actively targeting our children to doubt themselves and turn on their fellow citizens. Instead of focusing on how we are different, we should teach our children how we are more or less the same. Instead of teaching kids how much the world hates them and wants to destroy them, we should teach our children how to overcome the obstacles and the adversity they will face in the world. Become victors rather than victims. While we should teach the truth, the good, the bad, and sometimes ugly, what we should focus on what we focus on expands. When we fix on our differences, we propagate division and hate. When we focus on what unites us, we can build bridges with love, community, honest communication. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Monique. And after Monique, my last card is Catalina.
Good evening. I am Monique Dusan, resident of Glendora. Since the last meeting, I've had the opportunity to read your proposed curriculum outline, and everything I said last meeting still stands. The outline is the praxis of critical race theory. I wholeheartedly believe that the tragedies and triumphs of differing ethnicities should be known, but I strongly oppose the ideological hijacking of ethnic studies and the unequal and inequitable treatment of some ethnicities, as proposed by your suggested curriculum outline. What's being put forward is not a true celebration of heritage or shared American values. It is the quiet embedding of the praxis of critical theory, especially critical race theory, ideas that do not unite our children, but promote some, demoralize others, and divide all. This course outline repeatedly uses the language of systems, resistance, collective identity, Marxist terms drawn and defined by critical race theory, and reinforces the idea that power structures frame our reality. A course embedded with the praxis of critical race theory will teach students to see themselves primarily through the lens of race, oppression, and power. It replaces character with color and encourages children to view themselves either as historic and perpetual victims or oppressors based on immutable traits they cannot control. From this perspective, people become representatives of groups, their collective identities, rather than individuals with personal histories, choices, and values. The proposed curriculum lists sample themes, which include political systems, social movements, and equity, not equality. However, when these are taught through the framework of critical race theory as inherently true, rather than ideas to be examined, education shifts from critical thinking to ideological training. This risks turning classrooms into echo chambers where students learn what to think, not how to think, and dissenting views are silenced or stigmatized. We see this real time in our present day culture when we see lift black voices or white people sit down and listen. This is not the ideas we want our children raised in. Or maybe I should ask you the question, is this the ideal or ideas that you want your children raised in or under? This kind of thinking shifts the focus away from individual effort, shared humanity, and mutual respect. Instead of fostering empathy, it teaches suspicion. That's not education. That's indoctrination. And let us be honest, this framework, and respectfully, I fear your potential curriculum, is duplicitous. If CRT is a boogeyman that no one needs to worry about, why are the key themes grounded in critical race theory ideas? It claims to be inclusive, but it separates through intentional conversations on equity and power. It claims to empower students of color, yet it burdens them with the legacy of pain while teaching white students to carry inherited guilt. This is not healing, this is injustice.
Good evening, board members, superintendent. My name is Catalina Valera. I'm a field representative and caseworker for Congressman Gil Cisneros. And I'll make this short because I know I'm limited on time, but I'm here to read a letter of support on behalf of Congressman Gil Cisneros, and it reads, Dear governing board members, I strongly support the initiative to improve ethnic studies outline and implementation as a requirement for high school students in the Glendora Unified School District. With diverse student bodies, 70% of whom are from minority backgrounds and nearly 26.9% of whom are economically disadvantaged, this program represents an important step forward in creating a more inclusive educational environment. An ethnic studies outline will empower students to understand their cultural identities and appreciate the rich histories and contributions of various ethnic groups
in our nation. Research shows that when students see their own experiences reflected in their education, they are more engaged, perform better academically, and graduate at higher rates. As 48.1 of students in our district identify as Hispanic/Latino, along with significant populations from various ethnic backgrounds, implementing the ethnic studies curriculum is not just beneficial, it is essential. This initiative directly supports the district's LCAP by advancing Goal 1, which focuses on student achievement through Action 3, prioritizing college and career readiness, as well as Goal 2, which enhances cultural esteem through Action 4. An ethics studies program, it can enhance the investments you are making in your students by fostering critical thinking, social awareness, and community engagement. If there are any questions or further discussions needed regarding this initiative, please do not hesitate to reach out to my educational liaison, myself, Catalina Valera. She's ready to offer support and resources as the important initiative comes forward. Thank you for commitment to providing a well and inclusive educational experience for all students. Implementing ethics study requirement will undoubtedly have a positive and lasting impact on students in the Glendora Unified School District. This is signed your Congressman Gil Cisneros, and I will leave a copy with Tracy.
All right, that's all the cards I have tonight, and that's the time we have allotted for public comment. Thank you very much. So I will close public comment and move to a very important subject, which is 4.1, the Student Board Member Report. And before we do that, I want you to know that Liliana, our student tonight, plays softball, and she hit a home run last night. And I heard one of I heard a parent bragging about that at a local event, so I thought I would embarrass her and bring it up. But is there any truth to that rumor, Liliana?
I did.
And did you guys win the game?
We did win the game.
There you go. All right, we'll go on with your report. Thank you.
I want to start off by thanking you all for putting time during these meetings for student feedback and involvement, and it's been truly an honor to serve in this position and represent the students of Glendora Unified this school year. Without further ado, let's start with Coleman Elementary. May has been busy so far, and there is still half the month to go. Both the band and orchestra did an amazing job performing last week at the Ross or Norman festivals. PTA did a fabulous job celebrating our teachers and staff. They also thanked our outgoing board and welcomed the new board members at our installation dinner. We are looking forward to the Arts and Science Day, Dance Festival, and the 5th grade party, all which require support from our wonderful families. While there is still a lot to do before the end of the school year, we are thankful for the amazing year we've had and are already planning for another fantastic year ahead. Stanton Elementary. Friday night checked off another amazing night of talent at Stanton. It was standing room only in our MPR. We had over 30 acts and it lasted for about an hour and a half. It was so amazing to see and hear from all the students sing, dance, tell jokes, etc. Our upper grade students are getting ready to perform their hearts out at the Ross and Norman festivals. We are looking forward to the 2 memorable evenings. Our PTA is gearing up for our summer blast off on the 23rd, in addition to sending our 5th graders to John's Incredible Pizzas for their 5th grade party/celebration. Sutherland Elementary. Sutherland Cougars are ending the year strong. Most of our students have completed state testing. Thank you to our staff, students, and families for working together to ensure that our students experience the most optimum testing conditions. We are gearing up for the Ross and band concerts this week and are proud of the hard work our 4th and 5th grade students have put into learning their instruments this year. PTA is still busy and active. Most recently, we have held our annual carnival and mother and son date night. Still to come is our Sweets with Special Ones, Masterpiece Morning, Lunch on the Lawn, and our 5th grade party. We are grateful for the countless hours that our volunteers and parents pour into our school. Sandburg Middle School. Spartans are gearing up for the busy end of the year festivities, making music. Our orchestra and band students are excited to perform at the Ross and Norman Band Festivals this week on May 6th and 7th. Spartan Scholars Honor Roll students are enjoying a fun day at Disneyland on 5/5 as they celebrate their commitment to maintaining a strong GPA through the end of the year. Celebrating Sandburg staff. We are celebrating Staff Appreciation Week on May 5th through 9th with a theme of Destination Celebration. We are so thankful for our amazing staff and support staff for all they do each day to connect with students and inspire them to reach their fullest potential. Bringing history to life. 7th grade History Day is taking place on 5/15, and 8th grade History Day is on 5/16. Students will showcase their knowledge of history and enjoy collaboration with games and teams throughout both days. Promotion. 8th grade promotion is happening on May 29th at 10 o'clock a.m. at Finkbeiner Park. Counselors have been working diligently with all the 8th grade students to reduce the number of ineligible students with a goal of 100% participation. Glendora High School. As the school year wraps up at Glendora High School, there's been a lot of exciting news and activity on campus. Our stunt team competed in states, and our baseball and softball teams are heading to CIF, which are both extremely huge accomplishments for our athletics department. Prom at AV Irvine was a major success with over 850 students in attendance enjoying a memorable night. AP testing has been taking place last week and continues into this week, keeping many students focused and busy. Seniors officially only have 8 school days left until they check out, and preparations are underway for both the Senior Sunset and ASB's Goodbye Assembly. Graduation is quickly approaching, so don't forget to mark your calendars for May 28th. The final day for our Tartans is May 30th, and the last week of school will follow an early out schedule for finals. Thank you for your continued support.
Thank you for a great job, both to you and Diego, and we'll have a little something for you here pretty soon, so don't leave right this minute, okay? The next item is 4.2, which is comments from the members of the board, and I'll start to my left tonight, which is Trustee Garcia.
Thank you. I was going to give a rundown of all those amazing events that you covered so beautifully, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, one, I want to wish all of our Whitcomb and GHS graduates, I want to say congratulations, and wish them the very best in the next part of their journey. And that's all I'm going to say because I have a senior and then I'll cry. But anyway, I'm looking forward to graduation and shaking your hand and sending you off to do big things out in the real world. I do want to touch on the teachers that came and spoke from Sandburg and Goddard. If I can get support from one of our fellow trustees, I think this is something that has come up many times, at least in the years that I've been on the board. And I know we have tried to solve some of these issues. I know that the permanent solution is extremely expensive, and I know funding is an issue. But I do believe that we need to have a formal conversation about it. So just like I requested in the past, a conversation about the fields, because that was something that our community really needed to understand what the condition is and what it's going to take, not only from the district, but from the community. I would like to request a presentation on the status of our AC and heater system at both schools. What does it look like? Because of course we heard from them, but I would like an official report, and what are the different options to solve that as far as temporary and long-term fixes, and what does that cost look like? Because I agree with our teachers that it is not typical and absolutely not acceptable that this is the conditions that our teachers are having to teach in, and more importantly that our students are having to learn in. I know that we all care for our students and we want to provide the best for them, so we need to just have that conversation, because I know this is not something that is intentional. We're not trying to not fix this and not give them what they need in the classroom, but there's a level of transparency that needs to take place, and that conversation needs to be had. So if I can get support for requesting staff to bring forth a presentation to the board, I don't know how you want to go ahead and ask for that, or
After the consent calendar and before the adjournment, we can ask for items to be put on the next agenda before we adjourn.
we can't do it right now.
We can do it right now if you want to do it.
I'd rather do it now so we can just get it over with and move forward. So if I can get a second to ask staff for that presentation.
Yeah, I think, yes, I'll second that. I just want to make sure whatever timeline we put in place, that there's enough time to do that research and make sure that we have.
Well, yeah, whatever they feel, I don't know what kind of time they need. I will leave it up to staff to decide, what's the soonest you can get that to us. But of course, we need to provide some feedback to our community, our teachers. So again, I'll leave that up to you as far as when that can be done, sooner rather than later, of course. So thank you. That's really, and I want to, again, thank the community members who have provided feedback with regards to the ethnic studies. We've received several emails. on both sides, right? This is and we'll have a conversation later about that, but I just want to thank those that came out today to give public comment on that. And that's all.
The end of the year is upon us. It's been a busy couple weeks, and I'm excited for our seniors. Congratulations to all of you. I'm really excited for what the future holds for all of you. We had a really wonderful week with the Gordon Norman Festival, the Ross Festival, Jasmine with the Stars, Sellers Back to School Night, open house. I always mix those up, and all the things in between. Really of note was, and pretty touching, was the Gordon Norman Festival, who the festival was named for last year, who's since passed, and the program had a wonderful excerpt about who he was and what he valued and all the things that he's done for our community and our arts programs. So that was really big and really nice to be a part of. The Jasmine of the Stars was exceptional and it was a much bigger event than I had anticipated. I had never been to one before and was really excited to be there, so that was very cool. We have a lot of things coming down the pipeline for the end of the year, and so finish strong to all the students who are trying to put things together. To our teachers, hang in there, you're almost there. I know that final push is a difficult one for you as well, and so we're thinking about you and sending all of our good thoughts and excitement. And yeah, happy to discuss some of the things that are, managing, our teachers are managing at the middle schools. I think it's been a rocky road. I feel like it's either every end of the year or every beginning of the year when it's unbearably hot, we seem to have this discussion. So it'll be really nice to look at what a permanent fix would be, so that would be really nice. And we can start to look at some of that. So other than that, excited and keeping up, and hopefully we're just doing the best we can. Thank you.
Well, I've already said a lot about the stunt team and the recognition that we've had tonight for staff. Just a couple other things. Congratulations to the class of 2025 from Glendora High School and Whitcomb High School. Well deserved. Have fun. I will not be able to be there. I have other things with my own school our own school that I have to attend that night. One thing, I went to I was at the Division I swim finals this weekend, and it was really cool because there was a unified part. So there's a unified part of the swim finals, and I didn't know that Glendora had a unified relay team, which was really cool. And the relay team, in the beginning, was struggling a little bit, but at the end, the girl that swam the last leg came all the way back, and the Tartans finished second in the unified relay. So it was pretty cool to watch. So just wanted to comment on that, but other than that, I'm good.
Okay, so first off, congratulations to the upcoming 2025 graduates. So really excited to be attending the graduation. To all the teachers, recognition to them. The school year is almost over, so give all the students the support. This has been a fantastic year. Even me as a new board member, adjusting to the Glendora Unified School System, I love it. I can see why we're so unique, and I'm happy to be in this position to serve the community. As far as the concerns from the public, thank you for coming up and addressing these concerns. We as a board take them, very seriously, and we look at them in depth. So I'm also on board as far as the, trying to find a permanent solution for the HVAC problem at the middle schools. But other than that, just keep up the good work, all the teachers, and stay strong, and hopefully we have a fantastic end of the year.
Thank you, trustees. Just in closing, attended a number of events, the Strings one night, the Winds the other night, at the music festivals. I'm going to tell you, Beyonce herself couldn't have had more people stuffed into the gym at Azusa Pacific than on Tuesday night when they were doing the Strings. It was incredible. It was raining. It didn't keep anybody away. There wasn't a parking spot from Azusa to the border of Glendora, and it was just a really good night. And I applaud the Glendora parents and grandparents for showing up for their children, because the energy that was in that room both nights was incredible. And I'm also very grateful to our staff members and the principals that were there. on their own time, just doing the work, making sure the children that were performing were exemplary. They were like it was exemplar behavior. And it was just, it was a really good event to be a part of. And so I appreciate everybody that was there and the support that they got from our city, from Azusa Pacific, and from all the parents and grandparents. I also want to thank the 2 student representatives. That's a tough job. I mean, it's tough enough to be up here. It's a tough job to be a student, do all that work, and compile such a great. So let's give Liliana another round of applause. And in my own family, I've had members do this, and it's not easy. It's not easy to be a high school student and get up here and talk and be a part of the board. So I wish you great things as you and Diego move on to your next roles. But whoever's been in that seat has done pretty good their next year. So you have a lot to look forward to. I'm very happy about that. There's lots of other stuff to talk about. I'll talk about the emails and stuff that I got at the appropriate time. But I do want to thank everyone that showed up to give us meaningful feedback tonight, whether it had to do with athletics or whether it had to do with the HVAC, which, I don't need an agenda item for the HVAC. To me, it has to be fixed. It has to be fixed. I mean, it's like our track and field. There's things that have to be fixed. And if teachers are coming to us and talking to us about this thing that affects us, they need the principals then have to go to our executive cabinet. The executive cabinet needs to take it into consideration, put a plan together for us that we can approve. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the feedback. I'm hoping that we can come back in the near future, not tomorrow, with a thoughtful plan of how to replace that system and make it a good place. Because I could tell you that in the Clifford household, if the air conditioning isn't right and the heating isn't right, Mrs. Clifford is not happy. And I know that if our students aren't happy and our teachers aren't happy, it's not a good place to be. I know that from personal experience. So I think this board is collectively wanting to put an improvement plan together on all of the capital things that have to happen. And, I'm a fan of doing it sooner than later, so we'll get that back, and we heard that. So on the HVAC, on the coaching stuff, we'll work on that. And on the ethnic studies, we'll talk about that later. So I appreciate the feedback, and we'll move on to the next set of comments, which are from our superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Clifford. Members of the board, again, distinguished guests, you've heard 3 short weeks remain in the school year. I think I heard 8 days for seniors. Wow, moving quickly. We also celebrated our retirees earlier this evening prior to the board meeting. We celebrated them and their nearly 500 years of cumulative service to the Glendora Unified School District. Kudos to them, and thanks to them for dedicating their lives to the field of education. We're going to learn this week about the state budget and the May revise and where it currently stands in the governor's priorities and plans for the coming year, his fiscal year, and how that may affect us. We are concerned about a possible cost of living adjustment reduction in a percentage there, as well as some restriction of some mental health monies. Both of those things could affect us greatly, so we're going to watch that closely. There's a safety presentation that we look forward to tonight. You may have seen the incident response trailer. That was his grand opening and unveiling tonight, an open house for that. Thanks to all for making that happen. You'll learn more about that and safety in general across the district here shortly. Congratulations to Jennifer Yaxley. Jennifer's a 17-year employee. She's a special education aide at Sellers in our autism spectrum disorders classroom. 17 years. 4 employees were recognized across all SELPA districts. That's thousands of employees. She was selected as the one for a Making a Difference award. She was surprised with that award last week, and I want to commend her for that and that honor and that award. Job well done, certainly, and well deserved. You heard Wickham High School graduation Tuesday at the Citrus Ha Performing Arts Center, Tuesday, May 27th at 5 p.m. Glendora High School graduation. Citrus Stadium, Wednesday, May 28th at 6 p.m. Special thanks to Lily Lusk, Diego Garcia. Diego's going to be at that graduation for Wickham High School on May 27th. Lily's still got a year to go, right? You're a junior? Yeah, she's going to come back next year and knock it out again. I don't know if you're going to be in this role or another ASB role, but we've appreciated having them both And as a thank you to them, we have a small token of our appreciation in recognition of their hard work, dedication, in being here and committing their time and their efforts and in support of their fellow classmates in our district. So please join me in recognizing and commending Lily Lusk and Diego Garcia. Thank you.
Lily, would you grab that box and come over here to Diego for a quick picture with the board, just like everyone else did right up front here? Diego, welcome. Right up here, guys. Nice and close. Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Had to get Dr. Degrassi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There we go. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you very much, you two.
Good job, guys. Thanks, Diego.
Mr. Superintendent, can I check a date with you? I think you said graduation was Tuesday the 27th. I could be wrong. Isn't it Wednesday?
Wednesday, the 28th.
Okay, I just
Tuesday,
wanna-
the 27th is Whitcomb.
Whitcomb, yeah.
Yep.
I
Yep.
want to make
Thank
sure
you.
I check my schedule.
Thank you.
Sometimes it's wrong. All right, anything else, Superintendent?
That is all. It's a good one to end on.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That moves us to a staff presentation, 5.1, safety presentation by none other than Ms. Josie Wilson and Ms. Tammy Fry.
Good evening, President Clifford, board members, Dr. DeGrazia, and Executive Cabinet. We are pleased to present tonight some safety updates for this school year, and Mrs. Fry is going to start us off.
Good evening again. For some of you that took a tour through our incident trailer, we're pleased to finally have it be able to roll out and share it with you. We still have some items to add to it, but by now you get the general idea of what it's for and the purpose. I had a first aid kit in there earlier that I could not open up and show you, but I just wanted to demonstrate. These first aid kits have also been provided to all our school campuses. They had the choice of putting it in their deep end or keeping it in their nurse's office, and they decided to keep it in the nurse's office. It has a nice handle for you to be able to grab and go in case of any emergency, but what's awesome about these first aid kits are they are foil packed with expiration dates and can be replaced singular, not have to buy the whole kit all over. Thank you. Sorry. The pictures you're seeing now are some of the inside of the trailer. We had very talented young men from a church volunteer to put those items into the trailer for us to secure some of the items that we have in place. Our DEEP bins have been recently, and DEEP stands for Disaster Emergency Assistant Program, but they've been recently updated. New water has been put into the 50-gallon drums at all sites, and we've replenished the food rations in case of an emergency. The incident trailer is a form of a mobile deep bin, and it would be used in case we were not able to have an emergency evacuation at site, but we could take it to a site where kids may be evacuated to. Starting in the next school year, to comply with SB 868, Stop the Bleed, all classrooms will soon be equipped with trauma kits like this one. Again, it has the foil package bags inside of each, and they contain a trauma kit, a wineless tourniquet, Stop the Bleed patches, specific instructions on how to stop the bleed for somebody that may not have had training, but we are going to work on getting all staff trained on that as well. And these pouches are designed to take with them and should be taken with them on field trips along with their emergency backpacks. Moving on to the elementary playgrounds. All our elementary school sites have had one playground replaced recently. Stanton is still waiting for a pole to be replaced before it can be opened. But we've updated the ground placement for each of these playgrounds to be the pour in place. It's a rubberized surface for safety in case students fall off. Each playground was designed with their school site colors in mind, and each playground selection for the items that were selected for this playground were input by their actual school site. So if you've driven around the community, you would see when the fencing came down, LaFetra must be popular with the swings because they had at least 15 swings out there. Up at Sellers, and we have a slide of the pictures. They colored it red, white, and blue. There's a rock wall. There's multiple slides. There's all kinds of climbing apparatus. If I was a kid again and didn't break anything, I'd be up there on that playground every afternoon just for mental health. Next, we're going to talk about perimeter and interior security. All employees have badges. They've been provided to them, whether they're subs or full-time or part-time employees. We encourage them to wear them so sites can easily identify who's on their site. We have a sample of the badge there. For visitors or volunteers or any vendor that comes onto our site, they must check in through the front office to our Raptor system. And the Raptor system requires them to run their driver's license through, and it compiles any information if it will get a hit if they're in Megan Law violation in the state of California. But then once they're approved, if there's no red flags, they are given a badge. We don't have a sample of that badge, but they are to wear it while on campus, wherever they're going, in a classroom or out onto the playground. We've updated the middle schools with new fencing on the back joint use property shared with the city. That went into place before the school year began this year. We have new signage because there was a lot of concerns from residents as to why we now had the school site closed off during school days, but it's for safety. And even though it's a joint use property, it is only a park in the afternoon from 4 to the dusk, and then it's school property again from 8 to 4. So the new signs seem to be helping. We've had less calls, and it keeps our children safe. Catapult Emergency Management System is our, just what it says, emergency management system for all staff. We train them at the beginning of each school year. Each staff has a professional development day where they learn the system, and that's how they operate all their drills throughout the school year, whether it's a fire, earthquake, and even a lockdown drill. They're supposed to be using emergency management system through Catapult. It'll allow for real-time notification on a mobile device or a desktop, and they can check in and mark themselves safe. Also part of Catapult Emergency Management System, that word is hard for me, is our We Tip. You'll see signs at all locations on our school sites. Out in front, community can report whether they see graffiti or maybe a concern that they want the school sites to know. They can do it anonymously. We've had multiple reports from students, from parents. They can leave two-way communication open, and we can respond to them in the system before resolving the issue. Here's some slides of the new fencing up at Goddard and the new signs, warning people of bears and bobcats and snakes, as well as any other creature that may come down from the mountains. And it also, it's a little bit hard to read, but it does give the distinctive time between the city park and school hours. And now Josie, my colleague, will take over.
So I'll talk a little bit about the SRP and comprehensive school safety plan. So first, it will be familiar to you all, the comprehensive school safety plans. Those are developed annually and reviewed annually. The principals do review those with their staff at the beginning of the year, as Tammy alluded to, in August, just to kind of a refresh, a retraining, not only on the safety plans, but on the SRP directives as well. Then in October, that's when we begin the cycle of revision to those school safety plans. A lot of updates come out over the summertime, so we make for sure that we get those implemented in the new cycle of safety plans going forward. A lot of compliance, legal updates. Principals start to revise with their school teams. Then in October, we have those plans due to the district office. Tammy and I sit down, take a look at the plans first, send back for any revisions, and then after that we meet with our school resource officers, and our school resource officers give input into the plans, make suggestions for changes, modifications, and then February, March, that's when we present the plans to the board for approval. So our standard response protocol was a move to really unify language across the district so that all of our schools are using the exact same language. In an emergency, the more muscle memory that we have, the quicker we're able to respond. So it's helpful for students to learn the same language in elementary, in middle, in high school. And at the district office, when we do our drills, we're using that same language as well. The next slide that I have is just something that you've all seen before. This is the SRP language up close. The 5 basic commands: hold, secure, lock down, evacuate, and shelter. The language just tries to keep it really, really simple. It used to be, if you'll remember, there was kind of code language and things like that to not cause alarm in students. And what the state of California and many school districts found was that was confusing, and it caused alarm when we didn't necessarily need alarm. So the single standard response protocol really kind of simplifies it and allows for more immediate response time. These directives are also used in drills because we want to make sure that we're practicing exactly how we would ask our students and staff to respond in a true emergency. On a quarterly basis, as a school district, we meet with Glendora Unified, or Glendora Police Department rather, for our safety articulation meetings. Not only do we have administrators from each of our sites, district, we also have both of our union presidents present for those meetings. And one nice thing is we do include different members of the Glendora Police Department, including the mental health outreach officer for GPD, especially we find that that's helpful just with all of the students that we have to include that lens on those meetings as well. It's an open agenda. We collaborate on a lot of events. It's a good way for our police department to know when we have big events like action that comes up and how they can respond, as well as it's good for us to hear just trends in law enforcement and things that we should be preparing for as a school district as well. And lastly, we have some technology updates to report out as well. After Thanksgiving break, our phones got refreshed, so we did away with our old phones. Now we have the Zoom phones, which is super convenient. It allows us to forward our calls to our cell phones so that if we're out of the office, we can still get those calls. It also really nicely transcribes emails for us, very similar to like how your cell phone would, so you can get that email remotely and have immediate access to that. The Zoom app also allows our safety team members to communicate directly within that group text for an ongoing communication. We have that in Catapult as well, but it's also nice to have that in our Zoom phones. And then we also have a contract renewed with Securely on Call, and this is really more for our internet safety for our students because we do provide those one-to-one devices for our kids, and so Securely allows round-the-clock monitoring. If anything comes up that's of note, we get immediate notification through email. Some, if it is considered a dire need, some of it is escalated to a phone call. Also new this year is the Securely Home. That extends the web filtering to home so that parents have the opportunity to monitor their students' accounts and things like that. And I think that was it on Securely, and I think that takes us to the end of our presentation as well.
Thank you very much for that. I'll bring it back to the board if there's any specific questions to the employees that are here.
Can you talk to me a little bit more about Catapult and like kind of what it is and all the functionality? I had not heard of that.
Sure. Catapult, it's actually an app based, but it's on our computer as well. It can allow you to run drills. So when we first launched Catapult, all our emails for every school site staff members were uploaded on there. So if, let's say here at Sellers, there was an emergency, they can trigger it through the Catapult system and it will notify them by email, all staff members. If they're off-site, they happen to be ill that day, they can mark themselves safe through their email in Catapult. We have adopted it to go with the language of the SRP, so we'll follow that hold, shelter, evacuate, lock down, secure. That way they can run real-time drills. It's uniform across the district, so whether they leave 5th grade and go up to Sandburg or Goddard, they'll be able to still understand what's happening because of the uniformity, and it goes on to the high school and would come as well. It also notifies us as a safety team if something's going on to the site without somebody at the site having to stop and say, hey, we better notify the district that there's an emergency. We get real-time notifications here as well.
And so it doesn't necessarily trigger the sites to say, like, today you're doing a drill. It's like once the site has identified that it's a day for a drill, that's what they use to communicate out to all the staff.
Correct. We don't have a demonstration of it, but it has a big blue bar for drill only, and they hit that. We have had incidents where a teacher wanted to report something and they didn't hit the drill part in the drill, and then here at the district, we get the notification, and then we're reaching out.
Sure.
What's going on? You know, we know you're having a drill, but it seems like somebody's having an issue, and then, you know, it's all in the training, and they only learn by using it over and over and over again.
Sure.
We use it for earthquakes, all of it. Great Shakeout is how we announced through the drill system.
Very cool. And for the SRPs, how are they selecting the teams at each site, or who does the selecting?
For the SRP, that so that is mounted on every exit door in every classroom. It's not so much a team. I mean, each in their safety manuals, comprehensive school safety plan, they do have a safety team each site identifies.
Got it.
And they would be the ones responsible for checking classrooms, or, I mean, in a drill for like a secure, it would be the principal going around, you know, spot checking to make sure their doors are locked.
Got it. Cool, thank you.
It was great to see the incident response trailer. But I know I asked you this, but for the benefit of the community, it's not fully stocked right now, but can you tell us when you expect that to be fully functional and ready to go?
Well, our goal is for the end of the school year, but more realistically, because some of the things are on order, it will be up and running and fully stocked for the beginning of next school year.
Okay. And then you mentioned some restock of the deep bins at the schools. Do the deep bins mimic what's inside the emergency or the incident response trailer?
Yes, we have a list that we provided to each school site, and asked them to go through and see what needed to be refreshed. Honestly, with COVID, and the shutting down of a few, during that year, it got skipped. So we knew that the water was ready to be, it's like a 5-year shelf life in these drums. The food, so we did that. Part of that refresh was also all the first aid items. Just some things were out of date, like when you looked at the list, I mean, we all remember mercurochrome, or, and you can't purchase that anymore. Or big bottles of sunscreen, now they have these nice little foil packets that you can just pass out. So a lot of it was just updating to the time and updating the process.
Okay. And then finally, as far as securely, I know that we as a board recently voted on this or approved this, but when will the families have access to the at-home support service that was now a new feature?
That's coming for next school year.
Okay,
Yeah,
so how will families be informed of that?
That's a good question. I imagine through Parent Square, through the Friday memos that the principals send out. We'll probably have it in the Glendora Connection as well, social media.
Okay. I was like, I haven't seen it, so I'm like, did I miss something? Okay, thank you. I appreciate your presentation and working so diligently on stocking that response trailer. I appreciate it.
Don't mind, actually. So as far as things are looking, one of the things I forgot was kind of similar to what we've asked other people in the past as far as the site presentations. Is there anything we should be looking at or that we're missing or that would be beneficial as a board for us or as a district to be providing that we don't necessarily have yet?
I would just speak to the school safety plans. Like, I know when we present those, they're massive documents. Really what you want to kind of, the bang for your buck is on the school disaster plans, and that's what Tammy alluded to when she was talking about the search and rescue team, the request and release team, that kind of thing. That's the portion of the plan that our principals review with staffs in August, so that everyone kind of knows their role and how to respond for that huge document. Yes, we use the SRP, yes, it's uniform, but it's really important at the school sites for each staff member to know, in an emergency, what do I do specifically? How do I protect my kids? So that's something to kind of look at with the lens when you look at those plans.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the presentation. We appreciate it. No other questions. We'll move on to the discussion action item that was asked to be brought back to us tonight. 6.1, approval of the Ethnic Studies course outline as presented. Dr. DeGrazia.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Clifford. Board President, members of the board, we do bring this back for your consideration after review and revision and further refinement. And with that, I'll give the general introduction of those changes and the item over to Dr. Prince.
So just the general overview of those revisions. Units 1 and 2 were revised, and then the implementation, although not part of this vote, this is for the course outline, the implementation plan was changed in order to have this be a one-semester elective for any student grades 9 through 12, up to 70 students. So that would be one class period, semester 1, and one class period, semester 2.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'll bring it back to the board for discussion and then for a vote. And then when we do the vote, if we could do a roll call vote, please. So let's have the discussion. I think Trustee Garcia, you brought it back as an agenda item, I think. So why don't you lead the discussion?
I would just like for maybe, if you have an opportunity to clarify some of the concerns that our community members had earlier, as far as the CRT content that may be embedded into the outline. If you can clarify whether that is something that was looked at and that was intentionally reviewed and I know the answer, right, because we've had multiple conversations about this, but there seems to still be a lot of confusion about this, and if you can maybe enlighten us a little bit.
So that's definitely a deep conversation, but yes, it was reviewed. Yes, it was considered. On a basic level, CRT is it's a critical lens. You look at things through an analysis lens. In this instance would be critical race. So really it's not the, you could use that lens on any text, on any instructional material, if that was the lens you were going to use. That's not the focus. That was the intent of this course outline. It's really not about the critical race. It's about diving in, learning about cultures, learning about history, looking at how our differences can be beautiful things and also how similar we are.
Thank you. And then can you also clarify on the difference between an outline that we're approving today versus curriculum? And why is it that we are not bringing curriculum for approval and review?
Yeah, so a course outline, and Mr. Lopez could probably explain this even better than I can. So anything we put through for A through G approval through College Board, we give them a course outline. That's the standard of here's the framework of what we're going to teach. And then through the process, our teachers will build those lesson plans. They'll build the instruction. It's a little more difficult because, for example, if you have an English class, the State Board of Education tells you these are the approved textbooks you can choose from. You pilot them, you get them, and you have a full curriculum you can look through. When you don't have that, and when you develop it on the outside, like this, or aviation, or culinary, when you don't have those full, you have a course outline, and I have conferred with the California Department of Education, and the course outline is what requires approval to be compliant with AB 101.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I know that was a public comment today as far as us being out of compliance with that. I had something else and it just left me. It'll probably come back if anybody else wants to add anything.
You can have another, if you want another discussion, you have that right to have that. Any other discussion, any other?
Well, I want to get in chime on this because I know this is a big public concern. So the course outline, when it was originally created, was it created on a local level? From I imagine that was my understanding, a local level or a state, from the state level?
Are you talking about the course outline that we have before you? So this was created by our teachers. It has, they have curated, they have looked at different materials, resources, as any teacher does. And they've kind of curated and brought it all into their own unit. Yes, it has curated materials in there, as pretty much any classroom teacher will tell you they curate. But this was created by our social sciences teachers with feedback from our community members.
So it was created at a local level?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, so when we go for that approval for AB 101, this is a locally developed curriculum.
A locally developed curriculum, okay. Because I'm just reading the educational code and just looking at the locally developed studies that it mentions no outline but proposed course, and so that's, I'm having a tough time. Proposed course, there's no outline mentioned there, that I'm having trouble with it. Can you explain that?
Yeah, that's, so I conferred with the CDE to find out exactly what they mean by that, and they said a course outline is exactly what they're looking for. So if the board approves a course outline, you can use that. There are other means, as you see on there. For example, you could take an already A through G approved course outline that another district has put in, and you could take that. We had chosen to make ours more unique.
Go ahead.
Look, it's no secret, I'm a no vote on this. I don't want to move forward with it. I have a couple of issues. Saying that we have to be AB 101 compliant, I don't believe that to be true today. I don't believe we have to be AB 101 compliant. It's not funded. AB 101 is not anything that you have to be compliant towards legally. You can do it if you want, but I'm responsible as my trusteeship to create policy and procedure, and I'm not okay creating policy on an outline and then letting that loose without knowing what the curriculum's gonna look like. Because at any company or anything, when you create policy, you have to know how the policy is gonna be implemented. And I don't know how it's gonna be implemented. I know what the outline's gonna look like. I'm not on board with the outline, so obviously, I'm not on board with the curriculum yet. It doesn't mean that I couldn't be, but it's not there yet for me. And that's okay to say. It's not okay, it's not good for me yet. But I just like, we don't have to be AB 101 compliant yet. So I keep hearing that we're going for AB 101 compliance. We don't have to be yet, unless I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, please tell me that I'm wrong. If we have to be AB 101 compliant in a month, I get it. Then let's move forward to what we have to do. But I'm not in a rush to do something that the entire state of California hasn't figured out, in my opinion, yet. I don't think that, there was some social media information that was put out there that somebody was excited that in 2030, this was gonna be taught to all freshmen, and that was a positive point to somebody. That's not a positive point to me. I don't want this to be focused on freshmen or if AB 101 becomes law and becomes funded, and we have to move forward with some method of ethnic studies, I would like a revised outline and then some curriculum. But I also would like it to be taught to senior level class people, not freshmen, like juniors and seniors. That's my personal opinion. So my notes, and I wanted to speak about evidence and testimony because that's important to me. We had 4 cards tonight. 3 were asking us to not consider it, and 1 was asking us to consider it. I had 17 emails that I received just today, and about 7 before that. Of the 17 emails that I have today that you can have a record of, 1 of them was saying, please do it, and 16 were saying, please don't. And that's the evidence and testimony I received today. I think that my peers received the same number, and if there was more than 1, if I missed 1, please let me know, but I wanted to say that too. I think that the content is what I'm concerned about, and I haven't seen that yet. I've seen a course outline, which I would call kind of a context of how we would move forward with that. But, you know, I'm willing to listen, and I'm willing to hear things. I think that you answered the question of one of the speakers that asked about the curriculum versus the outline. As a policy maker, both of those are important to me, not just one or the other, because again, at work and in a regular job, if you get a policy, you would have to know how that's gonna be distributed, whether you teach the teacher and they teach the staff, or you come up with some teaching mechanism, or you adopt a book, or you adopt a theory, whatever that might be. I don't know what it is yet. And it doesn't mean that when someone comes and tells me, oh, our teachers, everybody worked on it, that's really good. I'm glad that happened. But that still doesn't mean that it's just gonna be voted on by the board. We have a different level of responsibility when it comes to, in my opinion, with policy and procedure. And you can argue both sides, whether you like it or you don't. But if you like it, that's good, you can like it. But if you don't, it doesn't mean you gotta beat the heck out of the person that doesn't. It's just that, that's my opinion. I think I've been clear about it since day one. And I have a bunch of notes. I don't know if I missed any of it. I don't wanna be redundant, but I'm just one of 5. And the threshold has not been met for me yet, and it doesn't mean it's impossible. But more importantly, because of the way things have happened in our state office, AB 101's kind of on hold until we hear about it. So I'm more a fan of saying, hey, when AB 101 gets funded, then let's move forward with what we have to do. I don't understand the logic of moving forward with AB 101 if we don't have to be compliant yet. I reserve cross-examination from you if something comes up, and I think Trustee Garcia had an additional comment.
I wanted to know if you can give us what the plan is with regards to receiving feedback after this first year of implementation. How will we get feedback from students, teachers, so that then we can have a better idea of what the curriculum may possibly look like, right? And I know that you're gonna have one teacher teaching it this particular year, right? So it's just one teacher that you have to sit down with and get feedback of that sort.
So with the pilot is the year where you teach it. You get the feedback from the teacher teaching it. You get the feedback from the students. You can make revisions, look at those lesson plans, so that before it goes more widespread, if needed, then you would have more fully developed lesson plans and curriculum in there.
And then at that point, is it standard protocol to bring in lesson plans and curriculum for board or community to review?
No, it is not standard protocol to bring in lesson plans. If you do have textbooks that you adopt, that is standard protocol. To do like a pilot and a preview, sunshining is what we'd call it, where the community can come see that. But it's not the same with like teachers' daily lesson plans. So for example, with our I say aviation just because that's a really easy, class that we have, like with aviation, there's no inspection of those aviation lesson plans or things like that. Or even for an English teacher, for example, there's no inspection of their lesson plans, but there's the course outline that they follow.
So they wouldn't necessarily introduce anything into their class or in the curriculum that is outside of that outline?
The outline is designed and meant to guide the instruction.
Okay. And then you mentioned aviation, and can you tell me other classes that we have where we approved a curriculum? An outlined but didn't have a curriculum, or books or textbooks that we currently have, and it's part of our high school, handbook or
So,
what is it called?
So ethnic studies, the course catalog. Ethnic studies, actually, AB 101 made that unique. As a standard, you do not have to get course outline approval for an elective course. You don't have to come in and present the course outline for board approval. You present it to College Board for A through G approval to make sure you meet A through G. But the reason we bring this course outline is because it's mandatory. AB 101 said if you're going to implement this class, then here are the different options you can take. You can go straight from the model curriculum. You can pull one A through G. You can do locally developed, which is approved by the course outline that's approved by your Board of Education.
So aviation is a
CTE elective course.
an elective, and therefore we did not have to approve an outline for that course.
No.
The only reason we have to approve an outline of ethnic studies is because it is written into AB 101.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, just to clarify, is it because it's written into AB 101 or because we chose to create our own?
Good point. It's because we chose to create our own, and if you choose to create a locally developed course outline, it must be board approved.
And talk to me about why we chose to create our own.
We truly looked at a number of different resources, and most of them were based wholly on the model curriculum, or they were really built for different communities that were so very different from Glendora. So what we did was really kind of curated a lot of those. This was really great from this resource, and this was really great from this training, and this was really great from here, and kind of put those all together to create something more unique. We could not find an existing one that we really thought was appropriate for Glendora kids.
And who made the decision to do that?
The teacher team. So the teacher team and we went to all of those initial trainings together for the first year, and as we talked about that was really one of the foundations.
Okay, so and if this had been something that was embedded into a previously existing course, or if we had taken the model curriculum, this outline would have never come to the board. Is that correct?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
But if AB 1 wasn't funded,
Right,
it
right.
would need it. You reminded me of something. One of the speakers talked about the fact that we wrote some phrase that says curriculum was developed by some highfalutin people that went to some kind of a training. I don't remember the exact
Expert
words.
teachers.
Yeah, could you repeat what that was for me, Trustee Cam?
There's been some concern that the curriculum was developed by expert teachers, and there's been a lot of outreach from the community. Who are these expert teachers? What makes them experts? What curriculum was developed if we're not looking at any? Where is that?
Is that statement that was written true, and is there curriculum written?
So it doesn't state curriculum, it says course, it's course outline. So if you're talking about a course, it's the course outline is what's put forth. And what makes the teachers experts is they're social sciences credentialed teachers. So not only are they social sciences, but they also did additional trainings over a year to specifically look at the requirements of ethnic studies. And look at resources of it. But what we call them experts is they are social sciences credentialed teachers.
Okay, well, please, I understand. Okay, thank you. I mean, honestly, the things that you've helped explain kind of solidify why I keep coming back to why rush, like why rush?
So
But anyways, go ahead.
Let me ask this then, because so I have a list of questions that I'm going to start to kind of go through. I don't have the privilege of Dr. Clifford, President Clifford, of knowing exactly where my vote lands. And so a lot of this has been just really frustrating in a lot of ways. So as I kind of go through these, I'm sorry, I apologize in advance. Okay, so based on the way that we've developed this now and the changes that we've had, which has been the up to 70 students, 2 semesters, 1 year as a pilot, not changing the graduation requirement, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so this will not be a requirement for every freshman. This will not be a requirement for every student at all.
At this point, no.
Okay. The other question I had was, so then at some point, this will have to come back to the board for a graduation requirement and will have to come back to the board for a curriculum adoption, correct?
It would have to come back to the board for a graduation requirement should AB 101 get funded and become mandated for all graduates of 2930. We would have to change our board policy on graduation requirements, which would have to come back before the board.
Okay. And if AB 101 funds are not appropriated, at the end of these 2 semesters, what do we foresee this doing?
We could look at it as a continued elective, depending on student feedback, and go back to it then.
Would we go back to it, or site administrators and executive cabinet go back?
Site administrators and executive cabinet.
Okay. So let me ask this too. So where do we anticipate these teachers will be teaching from if the curriculum is not developed?
So they're writing lesson plans based on the outline.
And that'll be happening in real time, or they're working on that?
They're working on those.
Because I think a big part of what the community is concerned about is that this curriculum is being developed somewhere else besides in front of the board or in front of kind of public spaces, essentially. The outline is kind of this weird thing that, and obviously, I mean, you've said the same thing. We're all kind of in this weird situation where, we're trying to figure out what this means. But the outline doesn't really suffice to make the community feel better, and it doesn't really suffice to make us feel better in what potentially is going to be taught. And I don't really even understand how a teacher can look at the outline and say, I know what I'm going to be teaching on Thursday. You know what I mean? So that's a really big concern. So the curriculum does not exist yet, but it's being worked on, and we will not be seeing that.
The lesson plans are being worked on, yes, and there are contractual issues with providing teachers' lesson plans on demand.
Yeah, no, I'm totally cool with that. I get that. That makes sense. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about if this gets voted down tonight and AB 101 gets funded, what's the potential what could happen?
To be honest, they haven't given us specifics. What CDE has outlined, if it were to get funded and we are not in compliance for the pilot year of 25-26, there could be things like audit findings or financial penalties, but they truly haven't been incredibly specific. If it gets funded, we are not in compliance by 29-30, then our students would not have a valid California diploma because they would not meet the state graduation requirements.
Correct. And at that point, though, we'll have several years of I'm assuming we're looking at the May revise, which I think is like next week, is having the discussion about whether or not this is funded.
Yes.
Okay. And so if we go through all of this and AB 101 is not funded, then we're not held to anything for the pilot or the 29-30 school year, correct?
Correct.
Okay. How certain are you, or can you discuss how different this outline looks from the model curriculum? Because I think that's a big piece of all this. It's like, this is so unique and so us that we've developed. But I think a lot of people are wondering, so where's the difference in the model curriculum versus what we have?
So there are elements of the model curriculum that were used as a basis. When California put out that framework, they put out that this is a framework of what you're supposed to build your course around. So there are elements that were absolutely used. However, we differed from that in a number of different ways. So for example, some of our focus on really looking at the history, building connections, building that safe environment in the first unit, connecting students with their American identity, that's really where we went more our own. And then bringing the nuances as you look at the 4 groups that are outlined in AB 101 and the model curriculum, looking at the nuances of how we're focusing on those groups. So less oppressed versus oppressor, and more looking at a truly social sciences course, trying, and I've expressed this with folks I've met with, we're not looking to create a political sciences course. We want a true social sciences course.
So as it stands, not a graduation requirement, 70 students, but at the end of those 2 semesters, the train has left the station as far as this board is concerned.
Regarding the elective course, yes. Regarding it being a graduation requirement, no. That would have to come back to the board.
Question, how long has the lesson plan been in development? I mean, you said it's been working on. How long have they been working on it for?
They've been working on for a while now. When you think about the number of years we've been doing this, our first year was really training, and then we were looking at the course outline, and there were some lesson plans developed, but as you know, the course outline has been revised. And when you revise the course outline and you say, get rid of a unit, all the lesson plans that belong to that unit go with that unit, and then you revise and you build new ones. And that honestly, that would continue during the pilot process.
So I think a lot of the community's concern is just not knowing what that lesson plan is going to be. You know, I want the ethnic studies, but it just, on one hand, you have, it's an elective, like 70 students are taking it, semester 1, semester 2. And then on the other hand, you know, these are minors, children, learning ethnic studies. These are sensitive issues to the community. It's like a road with no guardrails, just open. And so that's, I think, my concern is just there's no boundaries or safeguards. We don't know what the lesson plan is going to be. I know I had some concern with the model curriculum from the state, and so that I'm torn in the middle, not knowing what the lesson plan will be.
You have a comment, Trustee Logan?
Yeah, I mean, so when you look at all of our courses, there's a framework for social sciences, there's a framework for everything that we do, right, as educators. Within that framework, teachers develop, like right now, you're not asking for the physics C lesson plans. We're not asking for the U.S. history, the world history, all that stuff's been taught for years, and nobody knows what's being taught in those classes either. You know what I'm saying? So we're not really, that's not our job, is to get into lesson plans. But we're talking about a framework. If we want to put the framework together, if you guys are comfortable with the framework, we vote for it and we move on. If it gets voted for, the teachers put it together, and which they are doing now. They're preparing, because you never go into something you don't want to be unprepared. You want to be prepared to teach our students about ethnic studies, whatever the chapter is, whatever you want to be prepared. So in essence, the pilot gives us a chance to prepare for the graduation requirement. If it goes unfunded, it might just go to the wayside. With the way the budget is, we have to look at our FTEs, we have to look at our section allocation, we have to look at all of that to see if it would even fit into the school's master schedule, unfunded. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there's just a lot of things that go into play, and we keep talking about lesson plans and things like that, way beyond our scope as a board. Our job is to look at the outline, decide if we like the outline. We've heard a lot of people talk about the outline. So that's basically what our job ends up being. And then once we get that done, then there's our teacher's job to go to work, right? So I think that's where we're at, so.
I agree with that, and that's why I say when AB 101's done, bring it back to us, because I think those other classes that you talked about don't require even the outline to come to the, there's a reason AB 101 was, yeah, there's a reason it was created, there's a reason it's not being funded. You know, I feel like we're putting the cart before the horse, and then I ask why, and then I hear, well, you know, you can vote for the pilot, and that's cool, and it'll be there as an elective, but it'll be there in perpetuity as an elective, and I don't like that either, because, and you're asking me. So you're asking me how to do this, and it doesn't mean that, you know, I'm gonna support or reject it, but you're bringing it to this board, you're asking us a question. You might not like the answer to it, but you're gonna get an answer. So whether we fund it or whether we don't, whether we vote for it or whether we don't, I just feel really focused on the fact that Assembly Bill 101 was put in place to bring this in front of it, and Assembly Bill 101 has now been put on hold. So I'm okay with putting this on hold to figure out what's going on, and then if Assembly Bill 101 gets legs, then I'll move forward to say, okay, do I like the outline or not? But if you're asking me if I like the outline of a potential program that isn't required of us yet, the answer is no. That's kind of where my head's at. And so, if there's any more any other discussion, or?
I'm frustrated because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you know, we sit here and I don't like the idea of politicizing education in any way. But when I go back to who created the political football, it seems like the governor made a move to say, I'm gonna put this in for stuff that's already in place for US history. Like these groups are included in the US history curriculum. So, you know, I'm really torn in this idea of that, like at my core, I'm very libertarian in the sense that I want everybody to be able to take whatever course they want anyway. It's not up to me who takes what course. I don't want to overstep, and I don't think it makes sense for me to do that. I like the idea that it's students that sign up, and frankly, we could have 2 courses that are running 10 students apiece, so we don't even know that 70 students are gonna sign up for this course. I don't put a lot of vested interest in how many people are signing up for any art course or how many people are signing up for chemistry. But at the same time, there is something that is unique about this, that it seems like there's been all of this discussion and all of this legislation and back and forth that is really frustrating. The fact that we are holding the bag collectively as a dais is really frustrating. That there was a board previously that could have passed this, that there was a state government that could have funded this, the fact that we're all sitting and waiting for May revised versus what came out initially it's incredibly frustrating. At a certain point, I think what the community is looking for is this board collectively working together to ensure that our children are getting what they need, and we're focusing on academics and what's supposed to be happening. And, you know, there are times when we look at some of these scores and we go, I don't know that we're there yet. I don't know if we can be spinning another plate when the plates that we've got look a little wobbly. They look a little wobbly financially, they look a little wobbly performance-wise, and I think that this board has come together to say, we need to get HVAC systems for our middle schools. It makes it a really complicated discussion because it's not only the outline. The outline, you know, would make sense. I've spent a lot of time in CRT courses and understanding CRT. It's not something that I think makes sense in a high school course, but at the same time, not everything with horns is a cow. Sometimes it's a rhino, sometimes it's a goat, sometimes there's all kinds of things. But the tidal wave behind this outline seems to be what we're all having a discussion about. Is it that teachers are gonna take this and then, you know, try and develop something? Is it gonna come back? Is it gonna be a graduation requirement? I mean, had this passed at the last time we voted on this, it would be a graduation requirement currently, and every freshman would be required to take it. You know, the changes that have occurred, I think, are important, and I want to commend the people who have come together to make those changes. I think it's been really, really impactful that we've said, as a community and as a district, teachers are going to work together with site administrators and the executive cabinet and the board to say, we need to do something here. But at the end of the day, we're still kind of feels like dressing up a pig. And so it's really difficult to understand what this means for our students. And in the meantime, we're all holding up a counseling team and a master schedule and students who are trying to figure out if they get to sign up for concert band or if that period is going to be when another course is. At the end of the day, too, I look at it and I say, well, what happens? And, you know, frankly, we had an audit that didn't go so well with nutritional services, and we made a change and everything was great and we moved forward. If the pilot doesn't go through and we get told in an audit that we need to implement something, it looks like we've done our homework and we've checked our boxes. Am I missing something?
Frankly,
Any other
yes, if I'm being honest, I think what we're missing here is trust. Trust in our educators, trust in the fact that we decide the what, they decide the how. That's the job, honestly. That is our job, to say ethnic studies, yay or nay. They did all this work to ensure that this outline was representative of our community. There was money allocated by LACO, correct?
The state gave money, yes, 2547 per student, so just under 62,000.
That was used already to develop some of this for the time that our teachers have spent on this. We've asked this question a number of times. What type of financial burden is this going to have on our district? And the answer was?
Zero burden. However, with the caveat, now that it is an elective class, there's cost for that, that section of elective versus it replacing an existing class. So there is some cost associated with the modification of the implementation.
So what
But
are
they'll
we
be
talking
teaching
about?
an elective instead of another, so 2 sections
This is because of the CCP, and we're not
Yes.
replacing that, we're adding it as a whole new
as an
class.
additional class.
So, and I can't get past the fact that Azusa Unified, Charter, Oak, Bonita Unified, all of the districts in our community have said, yes, this is a great course. And some of them haven't even gone through the amount of work that we have to create our own intentional, community-driven outline for this course. And here our teachers in our community did all this work, and we're still not trusting. I mean, what are we thinking? Like, our teachers are boogeymen that are going to come and indoctrinate our children? Is that really what we think our teachers are going to do?
Well, I think we do need to acknowledge that this entire dais is comprised of different people than were here previously when this started.
100%. I understand that. And to answer your question, as far as why the previous board didn't approve it, it's because the process wasn't done yet.
Right, but what I'm saying is this board violated the trust of the community that we are all paying the penalty for now.
What trust? I'm sorry.
I mean, the reason that all of these seats have changed is because the community was dissatisfied with how things were running previously.
So you are the one who just said you didn't want to politicize this, but you just did.
No, what I'm saying is that we are paying the bill for that. When
I
you say we
understand
need
that,
to, everybody should trust, I get that everybody should, I totally get that. The fact of the matter is we earn trust, and I don't know that this board has earned it.
Look, and I just want to try to round that out by saying, Trustee Garcia, by implying that other board members don't trust anybody that's not where I am at all. That may be where your head's at. I'm being asked to create policy for an assembly bill that isn't required yet. That's not trust, that's just, it's not required. If the other districts wanted to do it, that's okay with them. That's not the Glendora Unified School District. I really don't care what other policy other boards make. I'm one board member on the Glendora Unified School District. Assembly Bill 101 is not required of this district yet. I'm not gonna create policy when it's not required. It's that simple. Has nothing to do with trust. I have a lot of faith and trust in what was given to us. It doesn't mean I support what was given to me. I would make several changes to it, and I've attempted to do that. It hasn't been done. That's okay. They don't have to do my version of it, but I've gone back several times and asked for changes. They haven't been done. That's cool. Right now, in the last 6 months, AB 101 changed from being something that was required to something that isn't funded, so not required yet. Then I think that's a different position than it was last year, and that's okay, things change. So at this point in time, that's where I'm at. It doesn't have anything to do with any other part of the process. I think I was clear about that. I don't like some of the other elements of it. I've been clear about that, but mine is just, hey, if they fund it and it becomes a requirement, our students are gonna get what they need and they're gonna be able to graduate in 2030. I'm good with that. I'm not good with creating an elective that is good for a bunch of students, and then once it's done from here, it's just gonna have a life of its own. I'm not okay with that right now, and that's my position.
You mentioned that you don't want to, approve something that has not been mandated. And as I recall, you are one of our trustees that is very clear on local control and not wanting to do what Sacramento is telling you to do. And here we have an opportunity to lead the way, to take this local control, to see that the value of this course for our students in our school, and now you're saying, until Sacramento tells me to do it, that's when I'll do it.
Yeah, I don't see the value for our local control right now is my statement to that.
I understand you don't see that value, but we've received feedback from our experts, our teachers, our executive team, that it is of value. And when I say that we don't trust them is when we are overriding, like, I don't see it, therefore it's not going to happen, when we should be, in my opinion, what we should be doing is listening to the experts and then deciding, okay, based on everything that they've provided us.
Well, let me kind of clarify some of this too, is of the top 10 districts in the state, 8 of them are not implementing this program. And so that's a concerning factor.
What districts are these?
Now, they've also done their pilot, which makes sense. So, this is where I get kind of back into the weeds of, it gets really difficult. But I don't know that we can say that we're leading the charge when, like you brought up, everybody else around us has implemented it. And I've heard how great it is. I can't sit here and say that this is an easy decision. It's definitely not. It's a great armchair quarterback decision. But boy, it has been difficult.
I feel like we're kind of rushing it a little bit just because AB, it hasn't passed yet. There's no funding with the government. What's the rush to get it in? I understand the graduation requirement if it gets funded, but we can bring it back and have it heard and implement it. And as far as trusting our teachers, they do a fantastic job. I love everything they do, but then why have a board? We're here to make decisions about implementing programs or not. So I feel that, I'm torn about it just because I feel like we're rushing it, and the community has a lot of concerns. I see people supporting it. I see people against it. They mentioned CRT, Marxist, stuff. I don't believe 100% of that, but it's a slippery slope. So for me, I don't see the rush of it.
Can you, once again, go through the timeline, sorry to do this to you, and tell me how long we've been working on this and why the pilot year?
This has been in place for 3 years. I've been with it for 2 years. It's been in the works for 3 years, and I've been working on it for 2. The pilot year helps us to develop that curriculum, to get the feedback and make changes before, should it be necessary, it becomes mandated. So the pilot year helps you. And then timeline-wise, for example, Dr. Kim had mentioned it, that when you're looking at having students sign up for an elective course, they do sign up for that. We don't just mandate or anything and say, these are the 70 kids, you're gonna be taking it. They sign up for that. And once we lose them for the summer, they're not checking their emails again. So getting students to say who would like to be in it, you could end up where they didn't check their emails all summer and, you know, you have an empty class, not because 70 kids didn't want to take it, but because 70 kids were on summer break and rightfully so, did not check their school emails daily.
Lily, you're really quiet. This is a class that would potentially be available to you.
Director Trustee, that's not an appropriate
She's a
thing to
board
do.
member.
No, she's not. That's not appropriate. We keep it amongst the voting members.
Is
Keep
this
it amongst the
against the
voting
rule
members
for
of
me
the.
to ask her her opinion on whether or not this is a class she would like to take?
You can take a student board member's opinion at any time.
That's all I'm
She
asking for
does
her
not,
opinion. She could
as you know,
refuse
have
to
a
answer
vote,
if
but
you
you
want.
can hear her testimony.
You can refuse to answer if you want.
As I represent like the student body, I do agree with the fact that, like Dr. Prince said, there's a lot of students that would like to take the class, but as a student, I know that a lot of like the student body would rather take courses that'll get them through the A through G program and just get them out through college and onto what's next. So I feel like she said, like, I don't think anyone's checking their email over summer, and I like that aspect of, like, there are students that I feel like would want to take that class, but I don't think it should be forced on anyone.
Thank you. That's
Thank
all
you.
I wanted, your opinion, because you're sitting here, clearly it matters to you. Thank you.
All right, any other board discussion?
If-
All right, I'm sorry, no, go right ahead.
Oh, sorry, so the finding that if we don't go through with this, talk about the part that trustee Garcia was discussing that I want to hear more about is the two parts of AB 101 was the 29-30 school year and the pilot completed by this year, correct? That's the rush that you guys are feeling on your end?
Yes, so there were two components. One, that you have a pilot in the 25-26 school year, and then also that you have the graduates of 29-30. So there were the two parts.
So then it just becomes a question of whether or not it's a legitimate requirement in the 25-26 school year unfunded.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I don't think so. So as I'm understanding it, it's the 70 students that can choose to sign up, not a graduation requirement. At the end of the two courses, you guys will not come back to us for curriculum adoption or approval. But it will come back to us for graduation, for a graduation requirement.
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay, all discussed out? Thank you. Could we do we'll bring it. Oh, we need a motion. There needs to be, excuse me, I'm sorry. So item 1.6, approval of the ethnic studies course outline as presented. Is there a motion?
I motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Member Munoz.
No.
Member Garcia.
Yes.
Board Clerk Cam.
No.
Vice President Lopez.
Yes.
Board President Clifford.
No.
Please know that it does not pass.
Thank you. Okay. And thank you for everyone that stayed tonight. The next item is our consent calendar. It's items 8.1 through 11.2 as presented. Now, 8.1 through 11.2 represent about $10.1 million of expenditures, of which the majority, 9.8, is for warrants for payroll. Is there any member that wants to pull any item on the consent calendar? May I have a motion for approval, please?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, the last thing is adjournment. Before I adjourn the meeting, is there any, other than adding the HVAC that had a motion and a second, is there any other things to be added to the agenda? All right, it is 8:18 and our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.